Good morning, friends, and welcome back. I'm Mrs. Gordon, and I am so glad you are here with me to learn new things. Today, we are going to talk about animal habitats. Yes, animals have different places that they live. Did you know that your habitat is your home? So let's find out where our different animals live around the world. Today, I want to share a book with you. It's called Migration. Let's see what this story is about. Let's get going. The animal kingdom, some creatures are becoming restless. They are beginning to feel the need to move. Migration is about to begin. Different groups of insects, birds, and mammals, both land animals and underwater ones, will head off in different directions. They will leave their habitats. Animals migrate to try to reach climates that are better for them. Often, animals move to mate and to raise their young in more suitable conditions. Back and forth, these migrations go throughout the years according to seasonal changes. Each species knows what it needs to survive. An animal's needs depend on where on Earth it was. Some animals will travel thousands of miles or kilometers to their final destination. Others migrate short distances. Scientists and others try to understand how different animals know when to gather in groups to migrate. It's amazing how the migrators remember the exact routes to take year after year. It's hard to believe that tiny, delicate insects can fly long distances. Birds do this too. Insects and birds gather into groups of the same species to migrate. Some are small and large birds, fill the skies. Many birds point their heads in the direction they will travel to tell others in the group the way to go. Often birds and bats migrate at night. Mallard ducks use the North Star and the patterns of the stars to guide them. Canadian geese fly in a V-shaped formation because it makes flying easier. Ripples in the air from the V-shape create an air path so the geese don't have to flap their wings so hard. Sandhill cranes fly very high in the sky into upper air currents. They soar on thermal winds, so they don't need to flap their wings as much to fly. Arctic terns migrate farther than any other animal. They can fly from the North Pole to the South Pole and back. They follow the sun's path to stay warm. Land animals migrate to better climates in search of food and to mate and to raise their young. In Central Africa, there are mass migrations of animals seeking fresh grass, water, and better climate. Caribou travel in huge herds. Some herds have more than 100,000 caribou. In the spring, they migrate north. Elephants live in herds and migrate. Usually, they travel to areas where water holes have filled or formed from recent rains. This also means there will be more food. Many animals migrate over land looking for just the right climate. A lot of migration goes on underwater. Some birds actually migrate by swimming through ocean waters. In the winter, emperor penguins migrate to places where the ice is thick enough to support a large group gathering to have their young. Sea turtles spend their lives in the ocean. A few weeks after mating, the females migrate to a beach to lay their eggs. Then she covers them with sand and hurries back to the ocean away from predators. Looking at them leap and splash, salmon come from the ocean, fighting their way up rivers and streams as water rushes towards them. They are migrating to their spawning grounds to produce their young. Some tuna migrate to find better feeding areas or to breed swordfish to do this too. Huge walruses live in the Arctic region. They migrate south in the fall to find foods such as snails and crabs. In the spring, they migrate north to give birth and raise their young. Some sharks migrate too. Whale sharks are the world's biggest fish. They migrate to the best feeding areas to find safe places to give birth to their young. They swim about 7,000 miles a year. Gray whales make the longest migration of any mammal. They swim up to 12,000 miles during their journey. Because they are mammals, whales need air. They must surface to breathe oxygen through their blowholes. The biggest whale of all is the blue whale. It is the largest creature that has ever lived. It can be 100 feet long and weigh 180 tons. These whales migrate to warmer waters to breed. People enjoy watching insects, butterflies, and birds flutter and fly as they migrate to their new climates. Some people go to the zoos where they learn about the migrators. Others go on whale watches. Back and forth, year after year, migrations keep animals on the go. Let's get going. Now, I would like to sort out some picture cards with you to show you different types of habitats where animals live. Let's grab your materials and let's get started. First, we have the tropical rainforest. Usually, a tropical rainforest includes all salty bodies of water, oceans, gulfs, and bays, and it covers about 70% of Earth. It is the largest biome of all. Then we have the temperate forest. It has tall trees in a region year-round, warmth. Rainfall is often more than 100 inches a year. This is what a temperate forest may look like. Then we have a boreal forest. It has 4 distinct seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Leaves change and colors in autumn, and then the trees lose their leaves. We have fresh water. That could include a pond or sometimes lakes, and it's located near the top of the world and just below the tundra. Sometimes they can be very cold and snowy winters. Sometimes it can cause water to freeze. Then we have a savanna. Sometimes this is also called grasslands, depending on the area. This is what a savanna might look like. It's a rolling grassland Sometimes they might have scattered shrubs or just a few trees. Sometimes they can be in deserts, wet seasons, or dry seasons. Then we have the actual desert. Sometimes these can be very hot and dusty. It can be high winds or low winds, and sometimes a very dry heat. Then we have a tundra. Tundras are usually like a frozen desert, very windy. It's one of the youngest biomes, and it has a fragile environment. Then we have the marine. Can be also known as the ocean. Sometimes there's pure water without harsh salt contents. This also could probably include rivers or lakes, but mostly ocean and marine life. The animals you might see here are fish, crab or starfish, or whales. These are some of our animal habitats. You learned so much today about animal habitats. Grab your nearest adult and tell them at least 3 or 4 ones that you remembered, whether it's desert or ocean or Arctic or grassland. See if any of those remind you of the different animals that live there. Explain what a habitat is. Remember, it's where animals live, where they food, and also where they raise their young. Until next time, I wish you well.